Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Breaking Boundaries with Naluka. Thank you for joining me. This is the 10th episode. I don't really know where the time has gone. In this episode, I wanted to talk about balance. We hear the term balance used so much, but it's such a vague, broad term. Really, what do we mean by it? And how do we bring more balance into our lives? In a few episodes ago, I spoke about how I'm currently juggling a number of different things and wearing a number of different hats. And that has been great because it's meant everything has been very varied and I've been able to do some of the things that I've really wanted to do for quite a long time. But it also means that there is a lot to do. And sometimes it's almost like when you're working and doing your own thing, you're almost like, well, I can keep going because, it's just me. Like accountability is me and I'm the one who can stop and start at any time. But it's like reverse psychology. You almost don't necessarily stop because you know that you can stop at any time, if that makes any sense. So definitely balance is something that I try to bring into my life. Definitely have had moments in the past or times in the past where I didn't have much balance. And so it's a topic that is pretty close to my heart, and it's a topic that I think we all need to be considering and thinking about, because I'm a strong believer that you can be really successful, really hardworking, and still be happy and healthy and have balance in your life. So this video is for anyone who feels overwhelmed by all the different things in their life. It doesn't have to be loads of projects or things that you're doing. It can be juggling multiple responsibilities. For example, your day job, and maybe you're volunteering, and then you also have to look after your family, or maybe you are working but also planning for a big event like a wedding or something that requires a lot of time and energy. So how do we maintain balance in our lives? Well, I'm going to share with you 3 things that I do that may be helpful. So the first thing is to tap into your 4 rooms. So what on earth do I mean by 4 rooms? It's a bit of a metaphor. It's almost like we're a house and we've got these 4 rooms to go into. And I came across this model when I went to a workshop with a professor of psychology. And the 4 rooms are your physical room, intellectual room, emotional room, and spiritual room. So your physical room is basically, do you move in the day? Do you do some exercise, some stretching? It doesn't have to be super strenuous, but something to get your body moving. The intellectual room, I think we all probably, or everyone watching this now, probably taps into every day. It is your work. And unless you feel super bored by your work and that you're not being stimulated at all, you are probably going to be tapping into your intellectual room every day. Your 3rd room is your emotional room. So this is around the bonds you have with people around you, your family, your friends, your colleagues. It's really, really important. We are human. We work, yes, but we are all humans working. We're not robots. So that emotional room is really important. And then the final room is your spiritual room. And this can be religion for some people, but it can also mean meditation, reflection, journaling, anything like that really helps you stay grounded. So basically the whole premise of this 4 rooms model is that every day we should be walking into all of those 4 rooms: our physical, our intellectual, our emotional, and our spiritual. Now, when I reflect, I can think that some of those rooms are definitely occupied more than others. For me, I think I need to personally work more on my physical room. If you've been following this channel, you will know that when I moved here, I fractured my foot, which was terrible timing, but that really kind of threw me out of whack with my running and the usual cardio I do. So I'm slowly getting back into that. And also probably in my spiritual room, I have always tried to meditate a little bit, but I find it very hard to do. And it's something that I think requires discipline. But that's the first tip for staying balanced. Try and tap into your 4 rooms every day. So the second tip I have is to take micro breaks throughout the day. Now, we have this idea that we log on in the morning, we work, and then we take this lunch break that's only an hour long, if you're from the UK like me. if that, by the way, can be shorter. And then we work until the evening and then we stop. And it's like, okay, we have these 2 huge chunks in the day, but actually what I find works and what helps me not only stay balanced, but also helps me be really productive when I am working is to take micro breaks. So I have a rule where I try not to be staring at my screen for longer than 2 hours. Now, 2 hours is quite long anyway. Most people will say, like, the Pomodoro technique, for example, actually it should be about, 40 minutes or so working and then taking a break. But, that's idealistic. Most of us are on our computers a lot, but I really try to cap it at 2 hours and then take a 5-minute break. Maybe it is currently where I am, it's often going onto my balcony and having a drink and just watching people go past for a bit. Maybe it is stopping and stretching. Maybe it is just going outside. Whatever it is, I think having micro breaks throughout your day is really important, and factoring those in can help us stay balanced and can help us really kind of not get tunnel vision when we're working in a bad way. Or for me, I find it helps me just take a moment and gain a sense of perspective, and it helps me go back to my work but realize my work is part of a bigger life that I am in. So that's my second tip, to take micro breaks throughout the day. And then my third tip is to distinguish between your must-haves and your nice-to-haves. So balance really is all around choice. We are always going to have loads to do. We are always going to have a never-ending to-do list. But I think it's really around figuring out and prioritizing what are the must-haves that are important and what are the nice-to-haves. So for example, maybe a must-have is that every night you want to see your child before he or she goes to bed. Well, then you've got a choice to make if there is a work event that goes on late. Your choice there is that staying late is a nice-to-have, but your must-have is being with your child. So that's just one example. But I think in order to bring balance into our lives, we have to realize what are our must-haves, what are the things that are almost our deal breakers, the things that we're not going to budge on, and what are the nice-to-haves, and actually prioritizing the things we have to do on that basis, or the choices we have to make on that basis. And that's a hard one, definitely easy for me to sit here and say that. In reality, life doesn't work like that. However, I think the more that we can literally pose that question to ourselves, what out of today is actually a nice to have? What don't I have to do? And what is something that's really critical, can help us achieve balance, because we're really focusing on the things that matter most to us. So those are my 3 tips for staying balanced. Those are the things that I try to do. Number 1, tapping into your 4 rooms every day. So your physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual rooms. Number 2, factoring in micro breaks throughout the day. So short breaks, but frequent, to keep you staying focused and productive, but also allowing you to have a break and to stay balanced and to take a sense of perspective. And then the third one, choices, and distinguishing between your must-haves and your nice-to-haves, and allowing that choice to create more balance for you in your life. So I hope that was helpful. I'm sure everyone watching this here has their own tips or their own strategies to stay balanced. And so if you do, please let me know. I'd love to hear, or comment down below. And I'd also say, because this is my 10th episode, if you are watching these videos and you are enjoying them, please do like and subscribe. It helps me reach more people. Okay, I will see you here next time for another episode. Thank you for tuning in.